Hello there, adventurers, and welcome to Wally DM. Today we're going to take a look at a puzzle that you can use for your D&D or Pathfinder or other RPG games, and it is going to center on one of the most popular games that has been around for a very long time, the game of chess. This is going to be the Room of Checkmate. Today we're going to take a look at the puzzle that I call Room of Checkmate. Now this is using a chessboard and chess figure movement as part of our puzzle. So our four adventurers here, we have a wizard, a dwarf, a thief, and a paladin. And the four of them are on a 20-foot by 80-foot ledge, as you can see right here. Now spaced out every 5 feet of the ledge is a ladder or small set of stairs going down to this row right here. Now, this all looks like stone construction, but once you get to here, the rest of this is an acid pit. In fact, the characters are probably hearing the bubbling of acid right now. But if the characters go down the stairs and onto this ledge, they will be safe from the acid. Now, if you take a look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have a chessboard once they come off the stairs. Upon further investigation, the square here looks kind of like a floating tile. So if the paladin were to come down the stairs and to stand on this floating tile, he would be able to see the gaps in between of the edge of his square, and he'd be able to see acid through there. So hopefully that would deter the rest of the party from trying to go along the same square. Now what will happen is once the paladin comes down here, this actually is in the game of chess where a bishop would reside. And bishops can only move diagonal. So with the paladin here, once he lands here, these squares all have tiles that surface up above the acid. So the paladin could actually step onto any one of these squares. Now, since he started on the bishop, he can only go diagonal. So he must walk over to this square, or he must walk over to this square. If the paladin lands on this square, the tile sinks, and the paladin ends up in the acid. He would take an amount of damage determined by the DM, and he would be able to try to climb back onto this ledge or onto the square he was before. So now the main purpose of this puzzle is there is a statue of a king way over on the other side of the room, and the party should be able to see a set of stairs. So their goal is to make it where the king would reside on the opposing side and get to these stairs. So for the bishop, he would be able to come over here or come over to here and be safe. So now when a character lands on a safe tile, then tiles all around that character within a 5-foot radius, including diagonal, will surface. But again, it's very important, and we can even have the ones going backwards. So again, it's very important to stress to these characters that they can see that these tiles have raised to the surface, and maybe one misstep in the wrong direction and that tile will sink. One step in the right direction and the tile will hold them. That is a character from the bishop. Now when each character starts, they have to choose their own square. I recommend as a DM, if the party lets one person or one character go first and then tries to follow in their footsteps, that the tiles do not raise to the surface for them. Each character has to pick one of the chess pieces. So let's say our wizard comes down here to the rook, and we'll have our dwarf be a knight, and our thief here will be on the queen square, on the queen tile. So our bishop went there first. Our queen could safely come over here for 5 feet. Now a knight, if you're familiar with the knight's movement, can go to the side or straight ahead. So let's say that our dwarf will go here, and our wizard, who is in the position of a rook or a castle, can only go straight or to the side. Now, since the tiles will rise to the surface every time the characters progress 5 feet, it is possible, as in the case with the wizard, that he could step over here with the dwarf. And I would allow that, since that's a legal movement in a game of chess. So now I'm going to go and take us through another turn. So let's say the wizard goes 5 feet this way, the knight 5 feet this way. Now if he were to go any other direction, he would fall into the acid, because a knight has a 2 in one direction and then 1 to the side movement. The queen can go in any direction. The queen can go in any direction they want, and then again the bishop has to go diagonally. If I were to finish out this puzzle with the characters in the position they are now, it would look like this. And the characters are safely across. This puzzle was a little bit harder than I thought to show on graph and stuff, but you kind of get the picture. So if I were to draw out the best route for each one, here we would go. So the knight would go 5. The queen could just go straight across. The king could go straight across and over. The rook or castle, straight across, straight over. Now, the only chess piece that actually cannot land exactly on the stairs is our bishop on the left side over here. So I would recommend just allowing the character, as long as they do a nice diagonal pattern, and as long as they get within 5 feet, they should just be able to jump over to the tile with the stairs. So that is my puzzle entitled Room of Checkmate. There seem to be a lot of things in the fantasy world, D&D, Pathfinder, things like that. I remember in Harry Potter, I believe there was something involving a chessboard. So chess has been a game that's been around for a very long time, and a lot of puzzles and video games and movies and things of that nature that involve chess and chess pieces and their unique movements to the game. So this puzzle here, pretty much just the same thing. Just remember that when you're running the puzzle, have each character pick where they're starting from. Only allow them a 5-foot movement at a time. Tell them the tiles are very wobbly if you have to. I mean, they're not going to try to take the chance of running into the acid. If they try to start running to go and run across it, hope they make it. You know, if they go in the exact pattern that they're supposed to, sure, why don't we let them do that? If they don't, then they're sinking in the bubbling acid pit. So, and again, I wouldn't allow one character to go ahead and then everybody else follow in their footsteps. So if the other characters try to go and follow like the bishop's footsteps, or whoever went in the bishop's spot, watch where they went and then they go, maybe just don't have the tiles raise up to the surface. They'll just be sitting there looking down at the boiling pit of acid. And again, I highly recommend allow them say everyone's movement's restricted to 5 feet, and then go by each character and say, where would you like to move, where would you like to move, where would you like to move, and then after everybody's decided and moved their little token or figure, then tell them which ones fall into the pit of the acid and which ones get a bunch of new tiles that raise to the surface so that they can continue on. So I hope you enjoyed the puzzle, and I've got a few more on my channel, so please check them out. And if you would, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time, on to the next.